Buddy, welcome to the show today. President Trump says enough is enough. We have to send the full military force into these sanctuary cities. We have to indict the funders of this left-wingist terrorism. We have had a tragic, just horrible tragedy that has happened today. The left-wing rhetoric that is against MAGA, that is against Christians, is going so far. We're having copycats of the assassin of Charlie Kirk who are destroying lives right now. This is not okay. This is not good. And it's going so far that, again, remember, I told you, when Trump was almost killed and Elon Musk saw that, he said he jumped right in and supported Trump 100%. Well, guess what's just happened this morning? Elon Musk has officially endorsed even J.D. Vance to continue the MAGA agenda, to continue draining the swamp because of what is happening against common sense, regular policies. Elon Musk is now on board with J.D. Vance. Guys, this is big, big news because a man has ran his car into a church, started shooting. Family members were hurt. We have officially, at this point in time, 2 people who have been declared deceased. 8 others are hospitalized after this gunman just started shooting up this church in Michigan. And then he proceeded and lit the church on fire. Now, I don't know about y'all, but whenever we see this type of violence, we have to do whatever we can to stop it. And that's where Trump is at. We are at the point now where literally people are trying to copycat horrible situations, taking out innocent lives, burning down churches here in the United States of America. And Trump is through with it. You have people like Elon Musk that are fed up with it. And a lot of people said, where is this coming from? It's coming from the left-wing rhetoric. We got a list of what people have been saying from the left side against MAGA and against Christians. We got that list for you. We're going to show you in a moment. But Trump is fed up with it. I'm fed up with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is going too far. We even have Vice President J.D. Vance who confirmed this morning that more indictments are coming pertaining to Adam Schiff, Letitia James, and more. President Trump announced that he will send troops to protect the war-ravaged Portland and secure ICE facilities under siege by Antifa. And it's getting so bad that even U.S. Senator John Fetterman has come out, posted, and even spoken on Fox about his own party, saying that they are unchecked using extreme rhetoric. This is one from their own side. Unchecked extreme rhetoric, like labels as Hitler or fascist, will foment more extreme outcomes. Political violence is always wrong, no exceptions. And that's what we're seeing right now. That they're not stopping. Guys, we got a big show for you today because, again, action is being taken by Trump, the DOJ, the FBI, all this because it has gone too far. And I want to tell you this because it's only the only reason it's going this far is because we're hitting the money. Just announced this morning, U.S. Department of Energy will return $13 billion that Joe Biden had secured for his climate agenda. Well, guess what? That $13 billion is coming back to taxpayers. And Mike Johnson said Democrats' strongest demand right now over the government shutdown is for illegal immigrants to receive health care paid by the taxpayers. When you take out their constituents, they only brought in the $20 million to turn them into voters. When you start taking away the slush fund money, now an additional $13 billion, they are losing it right now. NGOs, all these places, they used to have all the funding that they could ever imagine. They don't know what to do right now, and they're going insane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments today, guys, because it is a tragic day. Things are changing. I have a lot of good news to show you, but what has happened is not good. The good news is that we're going to take action. Trump is going to take action. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. We truly thank you so much for your support and helping us grow our voice, grow in the truth, growing America First agenda, MAGA. That's what this channel is about. I don't care about Republicans or Democrats. I care about American citizens. And I care about putting forth Make America Great Again, no matter what. Whether it comes from the Democratic side or the Republican side. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, those that give a super chat donation. Y'all show Larry Foley some love in the chat, everybody. And want to say, remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we're doing our part. And we're giving to a local charity. We're bringing good into this world. No matter with all this evil that we're seeing, we're going to bring about good change. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, this really does help our channel out so much. Right now, we got a lot to show you because, again, it's all coming from one side. Trump and them are fed up with it. The left is collapsing, and what you're about to see next is the very reason why. Listen to this.
Don't forget about the fact that the FBI actually did raid Mar-a-Lago, which...
I want to tell you this, y'all, because this is such a tragedy. Everything that you're seeing now is accountability. And the reason that we're seeing such, just like this, such horrible, horrendous tragedies is because we're rooting out the evil. And they cannot contain it. They cannot stop. That not only did this person run into a church in Michigan, set the church on fire, 2 people declared deceased right now, 8 still in the hospital, and Trump has already come out and said this. I have been briefed on the horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on the scene and will be leading the federal investigation, providing full support to state and local officials. Why is the FBI involved? Because they know it's coming from one side. And it normally local police are handling this, but because every single attack, tragedy like this is happening, we're sending in the FBI because there is a trend, there is a pattern, there is copycats that is happening right now. And that's why the FBI is there. The suspect is dead. But this is the thing. Trump said there appears to be yet another target attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. It is 100% one-sided. Let me know your thoughts, guys, because again, when we see how far things are going, look at Trump. Elon Musk is triggered right now. He's literally just posted this of what we need for the next 12 years. We need to continue Trump's term and then put J.D. Vance and continue this. This is how much things that are affecting people. And people are fed up with all the lies and all the abuse. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much, guys. It really does help to grow our voice and grow this channel as we bring the receipts. Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, please pray for the victims of the Michigan church shooting and the victims of the shooting in North Carolina on a Saturday night. Amen, brother. We'll pray. Appreciate you, Fred. Thank you so much, brother. And Jim Barbado, OG of the channel. Thank you so much, brother, for your support and our giving. We are at a point now where we have all the receipts that they 100% targeted conservative groups, Christians. Now Christians are outright being attacked, and everybody says enough is enough.
More than less.
And I want to show you this because, again, we bring the receipts, and I want to remind you that everything that we're seeing now is because we're hitting the money. The conspiracy no more. Remember, the Democrats said that illegal aliens don't get Social Security. Well, guess what? We found out that literally there was almost 4 million illegal aliens, almost 4 million that received Social Security numbers. They said illegal aliens don't vote. Well, guess what? We have found tens of thousands on voter rolls that the Democrats are fighting to keep on. Now the Democrats are saying they're going to shut down the government because they demand that we fund health care for illegal aliens. Isn't it just so interesting that whenever it comes to putting America first, these are the numbers, everybody. Those confirmed that millions of illegal aliens were given Social Security numbers over the last 4 years. 1.3 million were receiving Medicaid. Millions also received driver's licenses, registered to vote, and already voted. But yet what? It was all conspiracy. It was all that the Democrats kept trying to say what? That it was all lies. And we're showing you the receipts today. Because I'm telling you this, that as we are moving forward to bring about a red wave, they are fighting harder than ever. Remember, we cut off the money with USAID. We're cleaning up the voter rolls. We're not just allowing them to pin us into a corner like they did Mike Johnson last year and spend another dang $1 trillion in federal spending, putting us more to debt. No, Trump said no, we're not doing it. And now with the redistricting, everything, we are literally decimating the Democratic Party's chance of ever even getting close to winning in the midterms or in the 2028 election. And now that we have again our boy Elon Musk, who is on board now with J.D. Vance becoming the next president of the United States. Look at this. This is what Elon Musk posted. 2029, baby. J.D. Vance for the next 8 years. Listen to this, because we have a GOP strategist who's working inside with the Trump team over fighting all this, because we have to win, guys. They're trying to bring fear. They're trying to scare Christians and the GOP and MAGA into backing down. Listen to this.
So DeGrasse, let's put this chart up. Can you walk through this? Because I'm kind of shocked. I thought.
Well, you found this.
Go ahead.
Send you my own chart, which we'll go through this and then we'll compare my chart.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Do this chart. If you're telling me this is not accurate, I can junk this, because this is this shows us getting a net 11, right? And that includes the 5 they pick up in California, right?
It does. It does. It gives them 4 there.
Okay.
But, so these numbers are a little bit rough. But here's the deal, Steve. Let's just be blunt about it. Okay, we had the plan. I actually laid it out. The White House has laid it out. President Trump's allies have laid it out. People know what the strategy is, okay? We just have to know happy talk, Steve. I mean, people are not moving hard enough, fast enough. We're not seeing what we need to see, full stop. The posse, we have to dig in here and dig deep, frankly, and get ready to really kind of push on this, Steve, because time is ticking.
Yes.
And, you know, the key thing about what you just put up that chart is, look, all that's done is Missouri +1, right? And then Texas, what we got out of there. And other than that, everything else is, you know, few conversations. Certainly the governor in Indiana, I think, wants to move forward. And I think we need to start naming names. That's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. I know State Representative Ireland. I connected him with Cameron. He's in Indiana. He's ready to talk and educate people on what's going on. I think that's huge. I think people need to know what's going on.
Hang on. The good folks in Missouri, but we only picked up 1. We should get 2. Texas, we got 5. We should have gotten 8. You got Ohio down for 3. And then after that's possible. Kansas, Florida, Indiana. I'm kind of shocked that Florida's down impossible. What is this different than yours? Because I thought Florida was up as like, we're rolling, we're getting this done. And if not, I want you to come back either tomorrow or Monday when you prepare. And I want the battle plan, who we got to call, what we got to do, because this audience is enraged. We have to have these seats, folks. This is not an option. This is like mandatory. And they're out there, and this is the fair and right thing to do, sir.
Yeah, so my list is we need 4, and that's my understanding in Florida. And so people need to move on that. I mean, we need to start seeing progress, in my humble opinion. Ohio, 3. We can't allow that to be 2.
Yeah, but hang on, but hold it, DeGrasse. You're giving me 4, but they got Florida down as a possible. When I see possible, that tells me in politics it ain't happening, okay? It's the 80-20 rule. It's not even in the probables. Not only is Florida a seat light, it's kind of down and it's not going to happen. And I haven't heard a lot of heat there. We got to put the pressure on the governors. We got to put the pressure on the state legislatures. These people got to know we're not kidding around. And quite frankly, I think the White House has got to rev it up too. This is a priority for President Trump, but he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He doesn't have time to kind of, get in details. It's not, we can't make him whip the vote again. This is what he does every time there's a bill. Right? We can't whip the vote. We have to do that ourselves. And what concerns me is that it's just this kind of apathy. Well, and Kelly A., you saw her on TV the other day. No, that's not what we do here. I'm really worried about local issues. And every local issue she mentioned ties back to the House of Representatives in the budget. It's like, how clueless are you, lady? Right? This thing is so important. This is how we won 22.
And everything that you're seeing here, all the fights, and this is how everybody is 100% on board, everybody, with what do we have to do to get the red wave? We're redistricting, but if there's even a slight chance that we may lose, we cannot accept that right now. This is posted by U.S. Senator John Fetterman. He said, unchecked extreme rhetoric like labels as Hitler or fascist will foment more extreme outcomes. Political violence is always wrong with no exceptions. The only reason that we are seeing this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that we are seeing the fight that we're seeing today is because of things like this that was dropped this morning, everybody. U.S. Department of Energy will return $13 billion intended for Joe Biden's climate agenda to American taxpayers. Where was that $13 billion going? Oh, you ever heard of the solar wind farms, the solar farms? You ever heard of the subsidies going to these companies that barely got started a year ago, haven't really done much? But then you ever heard of all these companies, especially when it came to Obama and all the green car companies that were trying to come out and develop electric cars, but then they ended up failing a couple years later? Where'd all the billions of dollars go then? People got paid. People's pockets were lined up, and I'm telling you this, as we continue to pull back like never before on the spending, guys, $13 billion. Do you realize the companies that were, or the people that were going to receive that, how furious and mad that they are right now because Trump has pulled this back? It is a fight like never before because we're hitting them where it hurts. It's the money. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. It really helps to grow our voice and our reach. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. If you got a free membership from Lay, show her some love in the chat. OG of the channel, growing our voice. Thank you so much, Lay. Ralph Campbell Mobile Welding said China and Russia is the ones that are paying these people, one guy $80,000 a year to set up these protests and hurting our people. Please stay prayed up. Amen, brother. Show Ralph Campbell some love in the chat, as well as Fred Samuel. Thank you so much, brother. Said stay vigilant and stay prepared. Even keep a trauma kit in your vehicle. You never know where a lunatic will strike. Protect yourself. Amen, brother. Y'all show Debbie Davis some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Debbie, member of the channel, for your support. Show Debbie, Fred, Lay, and Ralph some love in the chat, everybody. Because, again, the fight is only going to get harder. Every time that we come out, and I'm going to show you all the details in a moment, this stuff, we're at the point of no return anymore. We've hit them where the money is at, and now there's nothing that they're not holding back or saying from the left side.
And we have to win 26, or the Trump revolution will come grinding to a halt, and Hakeem Jeffries is going to have subpoenas out to everybody. You're not going to have anything done. I mean, the stakes could not be higher, as we say, DeGrasse.
Yeah, no, this is it. I mean, this is really, this is the grind time, as we say in politics. I mean, this is it. I mean, the posse, the weight is on our shoulders, obviously, to get this done for President Trump, because you've got Florida. I mean, there's more, Steve. I want to see Nebraska. So does President Trump's people. I want to see Kentucky. I want to see Kansas. I want to see North Carolina. I want to see South Carolina. Those are, realistically a little bit more reaches. Indiana 2, Florida 4, Ohio 3 needs to be in the bag, and we need to see that put to bed so that we can move down the line and hit the next one and go boom, boom, boom. I mean, we should be pushing on all fronts. And obviously, Harmeet is our I think, on the VR. I think.
How are we on? Yeah, Harmeet's running on the Voting Rights Act. How are we, real quickly? How are we on Indiana 9 versus Indiana 8-1, sir?
We feel good about it because that's what we want. We want to, full stop. And it's actually easy, clean. The map looks great. I've looked at it. I've looked at possible maps. It literally looks nice and compact because it is. It's legal and fair. And so I do want to make sure this, you get some state representatives on, because I'm going to set them up with Cameron, because I want them to talk about what's going on behind the room. And I know some of it, but I don't want to mess it up. And honestly, people need to we need to unveil, because the dirtiest deals are in these sort of state houses, the state stuff. I mean, it's really just kind of crazy. You think Congress is bad? I mean, all these
Albany,
places.
No, forget it. Tallahassee's places. Okay, last thing. Spend some time with folks in California. Tomorrow we're going to try to go live to one of these canvassing folks on Saturday. People in California are much more optimistic than I thought. Munger's son, who's, when I say Munger, he's 90. His son's older than I am. I think's put $40 million in it because his concept was the commission, and he didn't want to see his life's work undone. The last polling I showed only had the Democrats at 51%, and they're making it all about Trump. Munger and these guys are making it about what's right. They're making it anti-Trump. But the vote right now is just about, the polling shows it's just about 51%. Am I correct in that?
It's tight, Steve, no matter how you cut it. And I think the reality is all these kind of ballot referendums, local elections, it's just like, it's the ultimate turnout game. I mean, it's the ultimate battlefield for MAGA. It's the ultimate political battlefield for MAGA, because we got to just get our people out. And you'll be surprised. I mean, we have millions and millions, as we know at the posse here, of our people in California. And if they come out in mass, we will win. It's quite interesting. And so it's really just...
And again, it's going to go back to the voter rolls. It's going to go back to cleaning up the voter rolls, not allowing illegals to be able to vote. California, I think, is a lot more red than what we know it to be. And I want to show you this because this was posted by the Rapid Response 47 team. We are in a bad place right now when the President of the United States literally has to post, say, make crime illegal again. All these things that we're finding out, you cannot make up right now. The tragedy that has happened in the Michigan church with all that, not only that, but trying to burn down the church, that's why it means so much to me that we continue to grow our voice, show all sides of what's going on, and to make sure that people see the truth of what is going on right now in our society. It is heartbreaking right now. And they're all in these left-wing media outlets are trying to blame Trump. They're saying it's Trump's fault that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's Trump's fault that this person drove a truck into a building to take people's lives and to light it on fire. But what you're about to see next is the truth. I want to give some special love to our boy, Mr. Norby, with the gifted 50 TrueLife News memberships, everybody. If you got a free membership, show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. Brother, what a blessing. We thank you so much for helping us to grow our voice. OG of the channel. Guys, give it up for Mr. Norby. Brother, we appreciate you so much. Show him some love in the chat, everybody. Because him helping us to grow our voice, grow our memberships, grow our giving means so much. Because what you're about to hear next, this is where we're done with this.
And put somebody who, I mean, is just simply inept and unqualified to actually have that job.
Well, she was apt and qualified enough to get a grand jury to look at the evidence and return 2 charges against him. Are you saying that this process, which is used all over the country every single day to bring crimes all over the code, is somehow broken? These are ordinary citizens in a liberal jurisdiction who looked at evidence from a prosecutor and said, yeah, it looks like there's something here. Is that not what happened?
Yeah.
Watching somebody like Speaker Johnson normalize that, it sends us down an incredibly dangerous path.
I'm stunned to hear you say we're now worried about normalizing this kind of thing. We had an attorney.
You are about to do right now. Let's hear it.
I'm about to tell you what happened in the state of New York when the Democratic Attorney General ran an entire political campaign promising not to uphold justice, but to prosecute one person, Donald Trump. And I didn't hear a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth among Democrats about normalizing the weaponization of justice.
And what we're talking about is the abuse of the system.
What abuse beyond the idea of prosecuting people when Democrats were going after Trump? Were you worried about abuse?
Because I firmly believe that Donald Trump broke the law and he was indicted.
Do you think the 34 charges that are cited all the time were good charges?
But let me actually go back to Joe Biden. Joe Biden indicted his own son. Did he deserve to be indicted? Yes. But he indicted his own son.
You're saying the White House was directing. You're saying the White House was directing indictments.
But there's nobody
directing indictments. That's a revelation.
Let's have one person speak at a time. What were you just saying?
Yeah.
You see, they're literally destroying themselves. They're caving in on themselves. And I want to show you this just to get an update of what's going on, the tragedy that has happened in Michigan, everybody. It's so hard. It's hard to report these types of things because, again, this doesn't have to happen. But whenever you have people that have been fueled by such hate, saying that we literally, when the left Democratic side that 45% of the entire country believes in, says that we have Hitler as president and that Christianity and all these things are being attacked. We are in a huge problem right now. Listen to this.
As we continue our breaking news coverage of what's been happening in Grand Blanc, Michigan, want to bring in former FBI investigator Bill Daley. Bill, we know 10 victims. We do know that at least one deceased, multiple in critical condition, and more victims likely. I've been sort of trying to unpack the possible motivation. We just don't know at this stage. We do know that the suspect, the attacker, has been killed by law enforcement, 40-year-old male from Burton, and apparently used some sort of a rifle. What, if anything, can you glean from the limited amount of information that we have gotten so far?
Sure. And first of all, another tragic day here in the U.S. when people going about their constitutional right, freedom of religion, expressing themselves, that they're confronted with the horrific situation like this. However, as we just heard at the press conference a few minutes ago, was that the FBI has now dedicated at least 100 agents plus other resources, technical and other resources, to this investigation. Director Patel has been very leaning forward on all these incidents we've seen in just the past several weeks, where the FBI has been supporting local law enforcement. But as I listened to that press conference, there are a couple of things that kind of jumped out at me. One was certainly I would say kind of the quick and efficient way that local police responded. That this individual apparently was in a position to be able to take shots at individuals until they arrived on the scene and they neutralized him. Apparently there was some type of exchange of gunfire and he was neutralized. At the same time, he seems to have been able to set either some type of incendiary device or maybe some flammable fluid. We're not too sure what transpired, but set ablaze the church, to which point the local chief of police said they're not even too sure if they have accounted for all the victims, because there may be some others who were trapped perhaps upstairs, maybe a choir loft or some of the secondary level of the.
If you appreciate us bringing all this news, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, everybody, we really thank you so much for your support. And don't forget, if you got a free membership, give it up for our boy Mr. Norby with the 50 gifted True Life News memberships today. Thank you so much, brother, for your support.
Church that was then consumed by fire, so they're not too sure exactly if that count of the victims is accurate at this point. The other thing, too, and I think you discussed it preceding the break, was the fact that they haven't named the individual. Many times this is certainly in the favor of law enforcement because they want to get to location or locations where this person has lived, where he may have either some incriminating information. There could be locations that have been booby-trapped, we've seen with some other of these incidents. And so they want to just make sure that they're not telegraphing to people, either neighbors or others, who may kind of then, come upon these locations before law enforcement gets there. So they want to make sure that the public is safe as well as evidence is preserved. So it's a very evolving situation, as we know. Sometimes this kind of fog at the first few minutes of an incident, the clarity isn't there. But I can assure you, with the support of the FBI, the other federal agencies involved in this investigation, we will find the reasons why. And at this point, as the police chief said, he didn't appear that there was any further threat to the public.
Bill, into the 30 or so seconds we have left, can you help me understand who takes the lead in an investigation like this, and how does everyone coordinate information through one large centralized space so that we're all on the same page?
Yeah, that's a great question, because as we've seen a number of these cases, is that there may be more of kind of a local jurisdiction with regard to the immediate crime. There could eventually be some federal level charges, but certainly gathering all this information, having command and control to make sure that as you gather both forensic information, interview witnesses, et cetera, it's all kind of gathered and memorialized in one location should it be needed later. I would probably suggest at this point the FBI is providing kind of a lead investigative role. However, from a prosecution standpoint, and I won't get too far out of my wheelhouse on this one, is that there may be more kind of local charges initially, but I think there could be some federal charges,
yes,
depending upon if this was this certainly was a threat and denial of people of their constitutional rights, a targeted attack against a religious institution. There may be some other charges that could be leveled, although this individual now who is deceased, we don't know whether there's anyone else who has been around him, who was aware of his planning, who could be possibly drawn into this.
Great stuff.
And I want to tell you this, that again, it's all about fun. If we have to set the example, and that's why the FBI is there. You just heard 100 agents have been dedicated to this tragedy in Michigan over this church shooting, as well as being the church being lit on fire, that they want to get to the bottom of it. They want to figure out the motive. A lot of people are saying this is a copycat. That's stuff that I'm seeing on my side, everybody. But again, where are we at? It goes back to the attack on Christians, the attack on America First policies, the left-wing rhetoric. I want to show you this, and let me know your thoughts, because this, to me, you don't get any more common sense than what Scott Jennings says, but look at how the left is trying to defend that and make it so that it's literally Trump's fault, that everything in the world is happening right now. Everything's Trump's fault. Lin, welcome to the family. Let's go. Show Lin some love in the chat, everybody.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired of conservatives gaslighting about the current political environment and Donald Trump's rhetoric when all of this escalation can be traced back to his entrance into American politics. His claim to fame was saying that Obama wasn't born in America. He was the first presidential candidate to have his crowd chant, "Lock her up," about a political opponent. You can bring up the insurrection. Even in the past few weeks, my home city of Chicago, he posted a photo of Chicago being invaded by the Department of War. So the broader point here is Donald Trump endlessly deflects and tries to blame it on the other side when he is the one responsible for amping up the tension in America. And I've spent all of my formative years throughout high school, throughout college, looking to the president, who I'm supposed to be able to look up to, and seeing somebody who's trying to place blame on the left, who's amping up the rhetoric constantly. And yeah, it's not good.
So you think it's Donald Trump's fault that a deranged leftist climbed up to the top of a building and shot up the ICE facility, not once now, but twice in Texas?
I think it's Donald Trump's fault that America has gotten to this heated place. I think that
no responsibility for the radicalization on the left that's causing this violent
That
outburst.
29-year-old is radicalized by online communities and online algorithms. I'm not going to blame that directly on Trump, but he was caught in a lot of online video game algorithms and all these communities. Donald Trump,
but it's Trump's
10
fault.
years ago, Donald Trump amped up the tension in America.
So he ran 10 years ago, and this guy then 10 years later, somehow you're connecting. Can't you just take responsibility for it?
Oh,
on the left.
But let's not do the he has to take responsibility.
Let me tell you this. If there's anything that Trump did when he got into office, because remember, he wasn't a politician, he was anti-establishment, is that he exposed everybody, holding people accountable, actually calling out the deep state, actually calling out, what did he say whenever Hillary Clinton said, well, you need to pay your fair share. Why won't you show us your tax returns? And Trump says, I use the tax returns for the system for the benefit of myself, the greatest that I can be. He said, but guess what? You've been in office for what, 20, 30 years? And you could have changed the law, but you won't change the law because all your donors are sitting here in the front row. When Trump came in, yes, everything, I agree that everything escalated upwards, but it was only because it's a resistance. He called out the deep state. He called out the elitist. And when he did that, that's whenever the fights really started to show. And I'm going to show you again the list of the left-wing rhetoric that is fueling hate amongst Americans right now.
I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber. You want me to take more responsibility than the president of the United States?
I want you to understand.
I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber.
I want you to understand that we are in the middle of an epidemic of left-wing violence. They're attacking ICE. They shot Charlie. It's happening all over the country. We have these Free Palestine people running around trying to burn down the Pennsylvania governor's mansion. On and on
then
and
maybe
on.
The president,
it's not Trump's fault.
The president of the United
the left
States
is radicalized to the point of saying, we're done talking and we're going to start shooting.
Is Trump amping down the tensions?
Amping down the tensions?
Yeah, is he taking the tensions down? Is he trying to do that?
I think he's mad that his friend got murdered, if you want that.
And I want to show you this, because again, we bring the receipts, everybody. This isn't about just calling things, just telling you things. Look at this list. The source is the White House. This is the list from the left. Look at this. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu compared ICE agents to the neo-Nazi group NSC 131. You have Representative Gil Cisneros claimed ICE has terrorized people through racial profiling. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez right here says ICE should not exist. So when you come out and you say all these things and you think that you're not adding to the fuel, when you call people threats, they shouldn't be here, we need to get rid of them, somebody needs to do something, and then when people get shot or people lives are taken, then you're sitting back and say, well, it's not my fault. It is such a hypocritical stance. Guys, if you appreciate us bringing the receipts, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. And I want to show you the biggest update too, because again, it's all about the money. People only act this way because you touch their money. And what you're about to hear next, this is what it's all about. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And is the Speaker of the House, Congressman Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. What are you expecting? I know you have an important meeting at the White House tomorrow. Do you think you'll be able to avoid a shutdown?
Well, I certainly hope so. The purpose of the meeting is so that the president can assemble the four leaders, you know, the two top leaders in both chambers, to come in and have this discussion. And I talked with him at length yesterday about this, and he's going to tell Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to stop playing political games. What's really important to point out here, Maria, I'm glad you mentioned the national debt. You know, the statutes in federal law require Congress to do 12 separate appropriations bills every year. That's the only way to ensure stewardship of taxpayer funds, to spend less money and make government more responsible. The problem is, as you and I both know, and we've lamented before, Congress hasn't really worked that way in a long time. Typically, instead, what we have is a giant omnibus spending bill at the end of the year because the can is kicked down the road all the way to that point. We've been forcing the muscle memory back, Maria, and the good news is we are at great length, great effort. We've got Congress to work again. The House Appropriations Committee did great work. They did 12 separate appropriations bills through the committee. 3 were passed off the floor. 3 bills are passed off the Senate floor. They don't match exactly. So for the first time since 2019, we have an actual conference committee between the two chambers to work out the differences. All this is working very well, but we need more time because the end of the fiscal year is September 30th. So what do we do? Logically, we passed a continuing resolution, a simple, very clean, 24-page continuing resolution to keep the government open for 7 more weeks so the appropriators can finish that process. And what did Chuck Schumer do in exchange for that? He declined it. They voted against it. And he said, no, instead, I want to add $1.5 trillion in new spending to a 7-week stopgap bill. And I want to, as you mentioned, we want to reinstate free health care to illegal aliens paid for by U.S. taxpayer dollars. We want to claw back the $50 billion that we passed, Republicans passed, in our big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cuts, to provide for rural hospital and health care, and a laundry list of other partisan priorities. He knows it's a non-starter. He's trying to, quote, show a fight against Trump, and it makes absolutely no sense.
All the while, lawmakers left and right have been saying we've got to get back to pre-COVID spending. How do you get back to pre-COVID spending when you're bringing some of those subsidies that were issued during COVID emergency?
I want to show you this, guys, because I'm telling you, like, if we aren't in a change like never before, look what Elon Musk just has reposted from Erica Kirk. He reposted this. This is what Elon Musk reposted. Oh, did it go away? I'm sorry. Let me pull it back. But he said when Erica Kirk posted, go to church. Simple. Elon Musk reposted this. That's when you know that things are changing, because again, richest man in the world is ready to support J.D. Vance to be the president in 2028. 2029. We need this. We need to have our people in to clean out the deep state. We need to make sure that we root out the evil. We get the elitists out. We replace in 2026 with MAGA, 2028 more with MAGA, and with I believe J.D. Vance would do a great job as president. But I'm telling you, things are changing whenever you're moving, when Elon Musk is moving in the terms of towards the church. And the reason I say that is because he's not ever been that way. He's never been a person who's endorsed going to church. But now, because of what he is seeing in life, it's changing him. And when you have a big pocketbook like he does, you can help make things right in a big, big way.
Well, we're not. I mean, the subsidies for Obamacare is an issue that would expire, that those would expire at the end of the year. There's plenty of time for us to hash all that out. I'm not in favor of that. I think it's a bad policy. But that's not an issue for right now. Right now, we just need a stopgap funding measure to keep the government open so we can have those debates. They're trying to equate the issues, and they're not being honest with the American people. There's one reason and one reason alone that Schumer and Jeffries are doing this. They're trying to show a fight. I think it's very important to point out there's no partisan provision in the CR. They have already voted for these exact levels of spending. We're just keeping the doors open, but they want to shut it. And you know what they're going to jeopardize? Troops pay, okay? They're going to jeopardize WIC funding, Women, Infants, and Children's Nutrition Program, FEMA services, telemedicine and telehealth, all the rest. They're going to jeopardize all that for a political stunt. And I just think it's reprehensible.
Well, I know that Russ Vought is drawing out the plans of who's essential and who isn't essential. How would you characterize the job cuts that will come in a government shutdown? And are those job cuts permanent?
Well, so Russ Vought has a challenge because he's the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and his job is to make very difficult decisions regarding personnel and the priorities of the government. If Chuck Schumer decides and Hakeem Jeffries, Democrats, decide to shut the government down, he's responsible for determining which services are essential, which employees are essential, and that's a big task. It's a burden that can easily be avoided if the Democrats will just apply common sense and do the right thing. But if they force that, the results are going to be on them, not on Republicans. We don't want this. It's important to point out the president, Republicans in the Senate, Republicans in the House all agree that we should keep the government open and do the responsible thing. The Democrats are the ones trying to force this.
So what's your sense of how significant those job cuts would be?
Well, we'll have to see. I haven't seen all the specific plans yet. Okay. I know that the Office of Management and Budget's working really hard. But there are, priorities of the government that we would all agree with that I'm sure Chuck Schumer doesn't. So he's walking his own plank here that he's created. They've made that choice, and I think they're going to pay a political price for it.
I'm wondering if there is an action.
I want to give you an update real quick, everybody, on what happened in Grand Blanc, Michigan. It's just been reported that the gunman was an Iraq War veteran, Thomas Sanford. 2 have been taken, and he set the church on fire. He was 40 years old. He said Sanford was a U.S. Marine veteran. According to his mom's Facebook page, he rammed his Chevy Silverado truck into the building before unleashing assault on the Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, armed with a semi-automatic rifle. This is about as heartbreaking as it gets. He was a Iraqi war veteran in Iraq from 2004 to 2008. Set the church on fire. This is truly heartbreaking. Veteran. Those families' lives will never be the same. That church will never be the same. Whether you agree with them or not, violence is never the answer. And it's heartbreaking. And the FBI is on it. Trump is on it. Somebody posted and said, if a mosque was shot up every month, it would be a crisis for Muslims. If a synagogue was shot up every month, it would be a crisis for Jews. If a temple was shot up every month, it would be a crisis for Hindus. Christians, what is happening to us? Our Christian churches are being violently targeted at an exponential rate, and yet nobody says that there's a problem. This is heartbreaking, y'all. And again, we're bringing you the breaking news. We hope you appreciate this. If you do, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. And guys, give it up again for our boy, Mr. Norby, with another 20 gifted True Life News memberships. OG of the channel, thank you so much, brother, for your kindness and your blessing to our channel and our giving. This is such a blessing. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. If you got a free membership from him already, 70 gifted True Life News memberships today. Thank you so much, brother. We just want to continue bringing the truth. We're nearing a government shutdown. And this is the thing, that even this right here, y'all. Look at this. Like, this is about as telling as it gets. I told you, Elon Musk is triggered right now. Richest man in the world is triggered right now. But I'm glad that he's on the right side. He said a few things you probably didn't know. Illegals in America can get bank loans, mortgages, insurance, driver's license, free health care in California, New York, and in-state college tuition. What's the point of being a citizen if an illegal gets all the benefits but doesn't pay taxes or do jury duty? Like, I'm telling you, we're about to see some big changes for the midterms for 2028 election. I would not be surprised if Elon Musk doesn't plop down he plopped down $250 million for the 2024 election, and I don't doubt that he would do the same or more for the 2026 election. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Forcing catalyst, which would be the November 1st Affordable Care Act open enrollment. So when you see the open enrollment, is that an opportunity for insurance companies to raise prices? And will that be used against the Republicans to say, well, look what's happening. Everybody's insurance is going up.
Well, look, it's not impossible for us to finish the job in October. That's the plan. Remember, having gotten 3 bills through the process, and they'll be finished through the conference committee shortly, so long as we keep working, then you just have 9 bills left. And our appropriators have rolled up their sleeves. They've worked heroically, frankly, this year. First 6 months of the congressional calendar this year was basically absorbed with getting our big bill done, the Working Families Tax Cut, and they had to have all hands on deck for that. But since that time, they've been working around the clock to get the job done. I'm very optimistic that we can beat the November deadline and get all this finalized and finished. And so a lot of those unanswered questions would be resolved. But we have to allow the appropriators to work in bipartisan fashion to do their job, and the only way to do that is keep the government open. And that's the big issue, the big question that Chuck Schumer has to answer. Leader Thune in the Senate is going to put the House bill, the CR, on the floor again, Monday, probably Tuesday. And Chuck Schumer will have to vote it down each time, and he'll have to give some explanation to the people why he's doing it. There's no logical reason to do so.
Well, it's incredible to me to look at this situation where there's no reason to do it, and yet they're going to fight Trump anyway.
Yep.
We're still in this point where the Democrats just want to appear tough, like they're going against anything President Trump wants.
Exactly. And they're defying logic to do it. I mean, that's the whole point. Chuck Schumer got in a lot of political trouble because the radical left base in the Democrat Party accused him of going along with Republicans. What Chuck Schumer was doing in March when he agreed to the government funding resolution was the responsible thing. He needs to do that again. This is the exact same scenario. He has to do the right thing. He is making a very selfish decision here. He's trying to give himself temporary political cover. The problem is he's painted himself in a corner. There's nowhere to go. And I just think it's shameful that they're playing politics with all the services that the American people demand and deserve. They're going to be stopped. Troops, think of it. Troops won't be paid because Chuck Schumer needs political cover. I mean, it's really that simple. And I think everybody's going to see that clearly.
Wow.
Let me tell you this, y'all. You know things are on the rise. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Left-wing terrorism is on the rise. This is from The Atlantic. Look what Governor Gavin Newsom's press office posted. This is from a governor. Stephen Miller is a fascist. So you tell me the rhetoric, the things that we are seeing, it is literally next level. That people are just, there's no filter anymore. There's no common decency anymore. Now, trust me, I know Trump has called people low IQ and called people stupid, okay? And you know what? I'm okay with that. Call the Republicans stupid, call the GOP dumb or low IQ, but when you call somebody Hitler, a person who killed 6 million Jews, when you call a person a fascist like Mussolini or Hitler, that's the next level. That's too far. And that's why we're seeing the violence that we're seeing right now. And again, it's all because we're taking the deep state out. If we weren't taking the deep state out, if we weren't taking their money out, they wouldn't be fighting this hard. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Matthew Refrano, thank you so much, brother. Member of the channel said, may God save America. Amen, brother. Y'all show Matthew some love in the chat. And don't forget to show our boy, Mr. Norby, OG of the channel, some love in the chat for gifting 70 gifted True Life News memberships. Listen to this.
Committee Chairman Jim Jordan and JustTheNews.com founder, editor-in-chief, and chief investigative reporter John Solomon. All three have been very active in exposing a lot of the corruption. Let's start with you, Jim Jordan. I remember we had many a conversation all throughout these various scandals. Where do you think this goes?
Well, I think the main thing to remember, Sean, is it all started with Jim Comey. This almost decade-long attack on President Trump, it started with Comey in 2016. He's the guy who came up with, abused the FISA process multiple times, as you talked about earlier. He's the guy who was involved in changing the intelligence community assessment. They changed the report in December of 2016. The whistleblowers come forward, and Tulsi Gabbard has given us that information. And then he's the guy who leaked the dossier. So they changed the report. They then go up to Trump Tower on January 6, 2017, brief the president on the new report that wasn't supported by the underlying intelligence. They go up there, they brief him, and then he goes and leaks that to the press, and thereby creates the predicate for the whole Mueller investigation and this entire sabotage of President Trump's first term. So it all started with Comey, and then he leaks information about all this to the press and lies to Congress about it. That is what took place here. And we're going back to the guy who started it all. You don't have Alvin Bragg. You don't have Fonnie Willis, Jack Smith, Adam Schiff. You don't have all this if you don't have Jim Comey back in 2016 starting it all. So this is why I think this is so warranted, so appropriate that he's now going to be hopefully held accountable.
And I do believe there could be, more indictments down the road. Mr. Comer, Congressman, you have been all over this in so many different ways, and you've had many, many referrals. It sounds to me and it looks to me like many more are coming. What would you like to see happen next if you believe in justice and the rule of law?
Well, first of all, with respect to James Comey, you cannot lie to Congress and get away with it. Otherwise, what's the point in having congressional hearings if people are going to lie under oath and never be held accountable? So I'm confident Comey's going to be held accountable. I applaud the Trump Department of Justice. This is what should happen. But he's not the only person, Sean, that's lied to Congress. Dr. Fauci's lied to the House Oversight Committee. Hunter Biden lied to the House Oversight Committee. Jim Biden lied to the House Oversight Committee. There are criminal referrals there as well. And I think that that Comey is the first step in what many people in America that believe in the Constitution and want to see justice, I believe, is the first step with Comey. And I think there are going to be many more. Finally, we're going to see accountability. And, God bless Donald Trump and his administration, Tulsi and John Ratcliffe and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel for exposing the corruption in the deep state agencies. And Jim Jordan's right. Comey was the first person that started this all. And I think now we're going to see the phase of accountability. And that's what we've all been working so hard in these congressional investigations for.
Let me tell you this. We're going after the deep state. We are rooting out evil. We're exposing it like never before. But let me tell you this, you cannot negotiate with what I'm about to show you next. You can't find common ground with the type of person who would display what I'm about to show you next. Here, somebody has a bumper sticker that literally says, "Make assassinations great again." How? How are we supposed to find common ground with people that think like that? It has right here another thing. Trans people existing does nothing negative to your life. You cry baby. Safe abortion for all. It says, no apology, no, I can't read the other words. But this is what this person represents. And now that we're attacking the deep state, we've made the first indictment. More indictments are to come. They're amping up the rhetoric. Governor Gavin Newsom, who essentially is like a presidential candidate, came out and said that Stephen Miller is a fascist. Look, even Senator John Fetterman from the left, look what he has to say about all this.
All the way. But I mean, on the left, you've got such extremes. Would you consider switching parties?
No, I'm not going to switch, but I'm just going to be an independent voice in the Democratic Party. I'm not going to be afraid if people, and if there are groups attacking a Democrat, the last one in Pennsylvania, then to me, that's part of the problem, in our party. And if you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists or all these kinds of things, well, I'm not going to be that guy. Independent thinking and views wherever I happen to believe the truth, regardless if it's the Republican or the Democratic voice, what I think is the truth in this. Now, in this truth right now, it's firmly on Israel through this. And it's always wrong to shut our government down. And that's where my voice is. And if that puts me as an outlier, and that's where I am.
What do you think happens to Netanyahu if he doesn't submit to Trump and his...
Guys, I'm telling you, people are going to vote different. We're seeing change come like never before. And if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your kindness and support to our family and our voice. And give it up again to our boy, Mr. Norby, with the 20 gifted TrueLife News memberships. Man, it makes my heart so happy because, again, we're growing our voice. We're growing our reach. Every time you like our videos, share our videos on X, Facebook, it makes such a difference. But y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. If you got a free membership from Mr. Norby today, what a blessing. Appreciate you, brother, so much, and your kindness and your blessings.
John, I want to go to you after hearing from both congressmen and both chairmen. And I want to ask you this, because you were at the forefront of breaking so many. I can't even count how many stories you broke and shared with us as it relates to all these matters. And apply it to the term Kash Patel is using, a grand conspiracy that spans, 10 years. What is next? What should be next? What do you anticipate will be next?
Well, first off, I want to applaud the two chairmen because without them, we wouldn't know 3/4 of what we know today. The predicate for all of that the FBI is looking at was dug up by Congress from a hostile administration called the Obama administration, the Biden administration. So without them, we don't know this. We're going to learn who persons 1, 2, 3 are in the grand jury indictment. You're going to find out person 1 is Hillary Clinton. That's who the leak is about. Person 2 is Donald Trump. He's the victim of the leak. And person 3 is Daniel Richman, one of the advisors for the president. And at the end of the day, people will want to focus this on, this is the mainstream media will call this is retribution. It's just a tiny little leak case. It's not. This leak is a symptom of something that James Comey started in the FBI, and that is the politicalization and the political weaponization of the FBI. It began on his watch, leaking, lying, usurping the power of the Justice Department, launching false investigations. And by 2020, his own rank and file, the agents that used to work for James Comey, he handed off to Wray. They told an after-action report of Congress that they believed the FBI had become incurably biased, that it was infected with woke ideology, and it was beginning to treat liberals and conservatives differently. They were looking at political stripes and not the evidence. That's the legacy of James Comey that gets punished with this indictment.
let me ask you all the same exit question. Does this span over the course of 3 presidential elections in terms of attempts to prevent Donald Trump from being president, deep state operatives trying to undermine and put cinder blocks on scales of an election? Jim Jordan.
Yes, it certainly does, Sean. Remember, he leaked to the press that he had briefed the president-elect back in January 6, 2017, about the dossier. The dossier he already knew was false. They knew it was garbage and paid for by the Clinton campaign. So, yes.
Yeah, and James Comey.
Yes, absolutely. This has spanned many administrations, and I'm glad to see the truth is out and accountability is happening.
Does it span 3 presidential elections, John Solomon?
Yes, it does. It's the ultimate weaponization of the law enforcement community against the people of the United States. That's who the ultimate victim was. They didn't get the full benefit of their president because of what James Comey and the FBI did.
Wow.
Let me echo what John Solomon said, and except I'm going to include John Solomon. I don't think we would be where we are but for the 3 of you. Can't thank you enough for getting to the truth. We appreciate it.
This is big, y'all, because again, too, Trump's first term was so hindered by the impeachments, by all the false accusations, by all the lies. And I love it because, again, we have even our own VP who has come out and said that there's going to be more indictments coming. And I'm glad. I want to see justice. I want to see the truth. And again, I don't care if the Republicans do something bad, then lock their butts up too. I just want to get away from all this red versus blue, and it should be red, white, and blue for all of us. MAGA for all of us. You should not have a problem saying make America great again. You should not have a problem putting America first in our policies. But they've created such a divide. I just want to see justice. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tommy Radcliffe, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Said, excellent show today. Thanks, excellent show. Show Tommy some love in the chat. As well as James Huber said, thank the Lord for Trump. Amen, brother. Show James some love in the chat.
Others, and in the past he has listed Adam Schiff and Letitia James. Do you think there are more indictments coming, and do you think that's justified?
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, but we're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case and not political motivations, which frankly makes us so much different from the Biden administration, where they indicted not just the President of the United States, but so many people who were just engaged in the basic job of politics, who were engaged in policymaking, who disagreed with the Biden administration, and because that they faced prosecution from that same administration. If you look at the Comey indictment, Martha, this was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. There were 3 requested indictments. The grand jury returned 2 of those 3 indictments. So I think they showed they were judicious. I think that it showed clearly that there were a couple of things that James Comey did wrong. And to the people who are saying that this is all political, I mean, look, if you look at our track record in the Trump administration, there have been people who have been prosecuted, who have been political allies, who agree with our politics. There have been people who disagree with our politics. We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath, and he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury. But the idea that this is driven by politics, I think is preposterous when you actually read the details of the indictment and the obvious fact that James Comey did lie under oath to Congress multiple times.
All right, we'll see where it goes.
I'm telling you, we're finally getting justice, retribution for so many. And I have to show you this because, again, too, I'm glad that we have some that are standing up and they're saying what's actually the #1 sticking point for the Democrats right now is literally giving health care to illegals. Listen to this.
Yes, it is illegal for illegal aliens to receive health care paid for by hardworking American taxpayers, but they're making the demand to change that. They want to add that back in. That's one of Chuck Schumer's primary demands, to keep the government open, and we're not going to do that. The American people didn't vote for us to do that. We're trying to clean up the system. So what they're demanding, they know is outrageous. They know it's far beyond the pale. And look, I challenge anybody listening to us, Jake, go pull this up. You will see there is nothing partisan in what we have passed and presented to the Senate. Chuck Schumer is doing this for one reason. He is trying to get cover from the far left base of his party because they've been hammering him for not fighting Trump. So he's going to try to show that he's fighting Trump, but he has absolutely no logical basis for doing so here. Yes, it is illegal.
Again, this is the receipts, and we have to show from all the different sides, because again, no matter what, we are $37 trillion in debt. We have crime that is running rampant in left-wing sanctuary cities. We have found out millions have been getting Social Security that shouldn't have. We have people that shouldn't be on their voter rolls. And we're all exposing this, and we're cutting off the money and all this stuff. And that's why we're seeing such chaos. But we're going to expose it all. And I want to just thank everybody who supports us in bringing the truth, bringing the show every single day. We're here to serve you. We love you, and thank you for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, it really does help our voice grow, helps our reach. And I want to give some special love to those that have given today, because remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we're donating live on stream to a local charity with your support, and we're changing lives, and it's beautiful. I do it live on stream. We show you the receipts, and this is what we want our channel to be known for. I want to give some special love to our boy, Mr. Tracy J. Norrie, with the gifted 90 TrueLife News memberships today. If you got a free membership from Mr. Norrie, show him some love in the channel. OG of the channel. Thank you so much, brother. We can't thank you enough. Fred Samuel for your support. Jim Barbato, OG of the channel. Lay Lewis with 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships. Show Lay some love in the chat. Ralph Campbell, Fred Samuel, Debbie Davis, Lynn, Matthew Rafrano, Tommy Radcliffe, James Huber. If you don't mind, please show them some love in the chat. We are growing our voice. We're growing our giving. We're bringing the truth. We bring the show every single day. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you for sharing our videos on Facebook, on X, and we see it. And I read as much comments as I can. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for your support, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.